Hello? Hello, Detroit. Y'all see where it's at for this beautiful Tuesday? These are our noble Tuskegee Airmen, Detroit. I never seen this statue before. I was here when the Tuskegee Airmen, this is Aaliyah Moore. I am at potentially one of our relocated Detroit Public School Community District schools, David Aerospace Aviation School that has been in existence in our district for many years. But I had never seen this statue. As you all know, Detroit, David Aerospace is finally coming back home to the Coleman Young Airport on the east side with it. But look at these beautiful statues. Detroit had no clue that they were here. They got a little history here. All of them here. Never knew. So shout out to all the Tuskegee Airmen still with us and have since passed on. This is some of the history that they have out here, weatherproof, describing some of either the memorials, the dedications, renovations. But I just came on here not to talk y'all ear off Detroit on this beautiful evening, but just to give you history. It's good that they have this type of history out here, but they got the what? Click on Detroit history. That's Channel 4. They got the Detroit News. That's excellent. They even got the Spartan. They got Fox 2. They got the Business and Channel 4. They got all this. But the history of the people, and the people know the history. Right around the time, history keep going. And shout out to Miss Beverly Walker. She actually was at the board meeting, this past board meeting at Martin Luther King, always representing Tuskegee Airmen and the airport. But we got some old media, but all this is pretty much the same. Give y'all the whole little thing all the way around Detroit because it's beautiful and it should be represented. But the Detroiters that know, and they know about emergency management through the schools and how at the time back in 2013 fighting for Oakman Orthopedic and going to board meetings, just realizing board meetings, and then seeing Colonel Melbourne and his crew of other fellow Tuskegee Airmen and supporters of this beautiful aviation program coming to those meetings back in 2013, Detroit, begging and pleading and trying to get sponsors and what does it take to get them back to the airport. So this is a beautiful thing. You know, I'm greatly appreciative of, the collaboration, apparently with the city, the state grant, some of the facilities master plan money is involved in this relocation, along with city funds, I believe, or a state grant. But 12 years in the making, Detroit, and true enough, our babies gonna rise regardless of their circumstances, but just, know the number of children that could have, rose in the category of aviation. Now, the district is promoting and has been promoting the, through David Aerospace, the programming for drones. Now, let's not count drones out. A lot of people have full careers concerning drones, and, they are able, leaving this district, to get their drone certification at this school and get placed in jobs. So I was told that by the principal at one of the summers on the block last year, which I did a live. Facebook will be deleting lives, you all, so it's important. I have started a YouTube channel that will have pretty much, hopefully, all of those former lives. But, just to remember your history. And also, when you're thinking about David Aerospace and the actual originality and just the uniqueness of the program, you also have to remember that Bessie DeVos came here for whatever reason, found out about this beautiful programming back in whenever she did, and created a similar program, stole the program, I'm going to say, and others will say, stole the program from Detroit and took it up to Grand Rapids in 2010. So, Google it. Do your research. I'm not just going to talk y'all ear off on this beautiful day, but, do your research concerning Bessie DeVos, the charter school that she opened up, the free charter school in Grand Rapids concerning aviation. And so while she's opening up, something that our children had already experienced throughout Detroit Public Schools, we were getting stripped of ours to the point where these babies were bused throughout the years from one location and coming here, which cut down on their flying time. And then once we lost our license as a district, then that's when their focus became, the fake aviation and the fake air, planes, and then mainly getting drone certification. So Detroit, let's continue to remember the past, not to live in it, but just remember it, because people are running for election, and just remember who was around politically at that time when this school was being stripped of their resources and basically booted out of this airport and put, like I said, somewhere else, and they had to bus our children back here. So let's never forget. Very appreciative. This is 12 years plus in the making of this happening. Our babies, and they're not going to be there coming up in August. So let's not get it twisted, Detroit. Children will not be able to benefit at this location until 2026-27 school year, if I'm not mistaken. So once again, appreciative, but let's not forget. Let's always try to remember. Let's remember who was around politically that maybe could have said something that chose not to, especially if they're currently running for office in whatever capacity. But just Google it. Bessie DeVos aviation program, Grand Rapids. It'll give you some history, but it goes back to voting for people and knowing history of ties and connections with folks. This is very deep but very serious. So, I am going to say shout out to the district and the city and all of that. But just realize, too, that this is happening around election time. So everything is not necessarily, just people are sparked and decided to do the right thing. Some of these things are very strategic. Conversations about David Aerospace have been in the district between VD and the board, throughout the years, but it wasn't aggressive enough to me. Even when you have people like Colonel Melbourne and other great Tuskegee Airmen that have taken their time and energy to come to these meetings, and it was no real true collaboration, just illusions. So, I'm hopeful and that all Tuskegee Airmen and everybody that was involved in getting this happen and in making this announcement will be here to actually see our students be able to walk back into their home. Because honestly, this is their home, Detroit. They had no business being stripped from this place. A lot of our schools during emergency management had no business being closed or altered. But, we know that the Detroiters that are interested and are just even starting to get interested of what truly happened with the school system in Detroit. So be blessed, be safe, enjoy the remainder of your day, because I truly plan to. But I just want to come by here, it's all in the media, and it's a good thing, like I said, but it's 12 years plus overdue. It should have never happened. A lot of things should have never happened, but it's important for Detroit to stay woke. Keep them accountability even for the dates of opening, because just because things are broadcast, inflation and, things of that nature can occur. And so maybe more funding could maybe be the issue. We don't know what can happen in a year, Detroit, but be blessed. There is a financial meeting for the district tomorrow from 3 to 5 at the Fisher Building. I will post that, a monthly board financial meeting. As I told you all before, it don't stop. They meet 12 years around. Decisions always have to be made 12 years. 12 years. I'm thinking of the dang on shutdown for these babies. But 12 months out the year is always what DPSCD operates by. Their meetings don't cut off. There's no vacation. People take their vacations, but as far as the, board meetings, committee meetings, those don't stop. So, I will post that information, but hey, this is a good day, but hey, let's not never forget that they should have never left here.